Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet.
Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Crime and science fiction on this Thursday with episodes of Nightbeat starring Frank Lovejoy. Also, the lineup starring Bill Johnstone. X-1 and Real Gone starring Al Jazzbo Collins. An episode of Dark Fantasy, The Spawn of the Subhuman. And we wrap it up with a brand new Superman episode. That's all coming up on this Thursday, 27th day of February, 58th day of the year, 307 days till we get to 2026. The first Mardi Gras celebrated in Mobile, Alabama on this date in 1703. Washington, D.C. placed under the jurisdiction of Congress in 1801. The first Mardi Gras in New Orleans on this date in 1827, and that's the one we mostly remember today. In 1864, the first Northern prisoners arrived at the Confederate prison at Andersonville, Georgia in 1864. The announcement of the discovery of the artificial sweetener saccharin on this date in 1879. A challenge to the 19th Amendment to the Constitution on this date in 1922, allowing women the right to vote, rebuffed by the Supreme Court. In 1939, sit-down strikes outlawed by the Supreme Court. And in 1942, the USS Langley, the first U.S. aircraft carrier, sunk by Japanese warplanes. In 1951, the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution ratified, limiting presidents to 2 terms. The government of Italy asked for help on this date in 1964 to help keep the Leaning Tower of Pisa from toppling over. It was fixed, but it still leans to this day. In 1973, the American Indian Movement occupied Wounded Knee, South Dakota. Movement leader Russell Means, one of the occupiers.
Either negotiate with us for meaningful results, positive results, or you're going to have to kill us. And here at Wounded Knee is where it's going to have to happen.
The occupation would last 71 days. People magazine published for the first time on this date in 1974. The Senate allowed its debates to be televised on a trial basis on this date in 1986. And in 1990, Exxon and its shipping company indicted on 5 criminal counts and related to the Exxon Valdez oil spill. And it was on this date in 1991, President George Herbert Walker Bush announced the Gulf War was over because Kuwait was liberated.
Kuwait is liberated. Iraq's army is defeated. Our military objectives are met.
Of course, the violence in that part of the world continues to this day. Passing away on this date in history, William F. Buckley.
The next president of the United States would ideally combine the best features of Julius Caesar, Albertus Magnus, Thomas Jefferson, Napoleon Bonaparte, Abraham Lincoln, and Eleanor Roosevelt. Which is why it is really unprofitable to talk about Camelot, since we don't live in Camelot, but in the good old USA, and that's all right, Jack, at least all right by me.
From the 1968 presidential campaign, the conservative author and commentator passing away on this date in 2008. Also passing away on this date, Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers, singer Frankie Lyman, French luggage maker Louis Vuitton, pianist Van Cliburn, also from Death Valley Days, Dale Robertson, and actor Leonard Nimoy, all passing away on this date in history. Birthdays on this date include Elizabeth Taylor.
It's Beecher's time. Here comes Beecher. Nothing to be frightened about. Just like the hedge at East Meadow. Mother, we won.
From the movie National Velvet, Elizabeth Taylor, born on this date in history. Also poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, broadcast pioneer David Sarnoff, Uncle Charlie and My Three Sons, William Demarest, Nobel Prize laureate John Steinbeck, singer Guy Mitchell, who sang about singing the blues. From Green Hornet and Surfside 6, Van Williams, born on this date. Dr. Johnny Fever, Howard Hessman, born on this date. And from the second Newhart television show, Mary Fran. Those folks all born on this date in history.
Hi, this is Jeff Foxworthy. It is now time for the birthday announcements. The following people are now officially older than dirt.
She won an Oscar for Three Faces of Eve. Joanne Woodward, 95 years old today. Consumer activist Ralph Nader is 91.
I file in federal district court a lawsuit against the Corrupt Debate Commission.
That's when he was running for president. Ralph Nader, 91 today. From Chuck, Full Metal Jacket, Firefly, and Serenity, Adam Baldwin, 63. Bill and Hillary Clinton's daughter, Chelsea Clinton, is 45. Singer Josh Groban is 44. From House of Cards and 24, Kate Mara is 42.
I protect your identity. I print whatever you tell me, and I'll never ask any questions.
From House of Cards, Kate Mara is 42. And from General Hospital, the 100 and Walker, Texas Ranger, Lindsay Morgan is 35. Those just a few of the people celebrating the 27th day of February as their birthday. And if this is your birthday...
Hi, we're the Four Freshmen, and we just want to say, Happy birthday to you!
And we'll start off with this Thursday going back to 1950, 75 years ago today, an episode of Nightbeat starring Frank Lovejoy and the Girl in the Park.
This is Debbie Reynolds. If you've been wondering what you can do to fight communism personally from your own home, there is something you can do. Support Radio Free Europe, the station built and financed by the contributions of the American public to the crusade for freedom. Radio Free Europe is one Cold War operation the communists fear and attack constantly. Support Radio Free Europe. Send your truth dollars to Crusade for Freedom, care of your local postmaster.
Thank you for listening to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. If you're listening on Facebook, thank you for listening. I'd appreciate if you'd listen on Spotify or Spreaker or one of the other places. You can get a list of places where you can hear our podcast over at classicradio.stream, which is our page. We have immense problems with Facebook. They won't let us auto-publish our podcast, so they get released in batches when I think about going over to do it. If you want to hear them on a regular basis, listen to one of our other podcast sites. That would probably be in your best interest, so you can hear us on a regular basis. We publish a podcast virtually every day of the week. Comes out around midnight Pacific time. All right, Frank Lovejoy now with an episode of Nightbeat 75 years ago, February 27th, 1950, The Girl in the Park.
Nightbeat.
Hi, this is Randy Stone. I cover the Nightbeat for the Chicago Star. Stories start many different ways. This one started, strangely enough, with the flame of a match, whose feeble glow lit up a lightened face in the darkness. A frightened face twisted by an agonizing fear of death.
Nightbeat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone.
The night is a thief, some poet once wrote, that steals the colors from the day. It's kind of pretty if you like words, but for my dough, they're not exactly true. 'Cause there are colors at night. The burning red of passion, the angry green of jealousy, and the ugly, terrifying black of fear. This was one of those nights when pickings were slim. I'd cover the town from Henrice's bar in the Mart, out to Hyler's on the North Shore, and back downtown again with nothing to show for it. I was taking a shortcut through Lincoln Park to pick up my car. At that time of night, the park was pretty deserted, except for this girl walking up ahead of me. Not a bad silhouette, I might add, against the distant light. We were about halfway through the park when suddenly she stopped and threw herself onto a bench at the side of the path. There was something almost desperate about the way she did it, and I ran up to her. Excuse me, are you all right?
Yes, I'm all right.
Well, I thought maybe you were sick or something.
I told you I'm all right. Now, would you please let me alone?
Oh, now look, lady, it's not what you think. Well, this park at this time of night, it's no place for a girl to sit around by herself.
I don't need any help. Just go away.
Oh, sure, I'll get lost. I can see you're all right. Only you don't mind if I just sit here and smoke a cigarette before I go?
It's a public park. I don't care what you do.
Thank you. You care for a cigarette?
No.
Of course, in order to really enjoy a smoke, you've got to have a match first. I said in order to enjoy a smoke, you've got
I heard you. Here.
Thank you. Here.
Keep the book.
No, you better hang on to these.
I won't need them.
Well, you might need them later tonight.
After tonight, I won't need anything.
Oh, now, wait a minute. That's no way to talk. The only time you're not going to need anything, sister, is after you're dead.
Why did you say that?
What?
That about being dead.
For no reason. Why?
Because after tonight, I will be.
The girl jumped up and started running. Here was a kid that was afraid. Afraid of death or afraid of life. But then isn't everybody? I turned the matchbook over and looked at the ad on the cover. Penguin Club. A little all-night jump and jive place over on Clark Street. That's one I've been missing lately. On a hunch, I ambled up North Avenue in that general direction, turned up Clark a ways, and there it was. It was good to get inside out of that wind.
Check your hat and coat, mister?
No, thanks. I'm just looking around.
Can I get you a table? It's almost the end of the floor show.
Well, anywhere in the back will be all right.
Okay.
The hat check girl, hostess, or whatever she was, walked me through the bar to the edge of the main room. And then I stopped and really did a take. Out in the middle of the dance floor, under a little baby spot, singing in front of a 5-piece band, was Little Miss Desperate from the park.
Nice voice, don't you think?
Yeah. Who is she?
Oh, that's Franny. Fran Fowler. Haven't you been in here before?
Not for quite a few months.
Of course, she hasn't got much experience yet.
From out of town,
Someplace over in Wisconsin. Not bad looking, huh?
In everything.
Hey, what's wrong with her?
Gee, I don't know.
I can't.
Well, how do you like that?
Come on, folks, come on. Let's give the little girl a great big hand. Nothing like a real sad song to wind up a real sad act, especially for a real sad tomato-type tomato. No. It's all in fun, so let's dance now. Come on, you lucky guys and gals. Get over here. Move around. Hiya, Peggy. You got yourself a live one, huh?
Hello, Tommy. This is Tommy Mason. Ain't he the one?
Yes, he's quite the one, all right.
Gee, Tommy, you sure covered up for Franny, all right.
Never let down. Keep him going all the time. That's show business. You know how it is, mister.
Oh, yes, I've heard. The show must go on. It's a new thing.
You gotta keep him laughing.
Honest, mister, he's this way all the time. What a joker.
Oh, look, about that girl.
Franny?
Yeah, Franny. What seems to be the trouble?
Well, that's hard to say, pal. Maybe she just found out she ain't no Dinah Shore, and she sure ain't.
Tommy, you killed me.
Seriously, fella. Fella, why would a girl break up that way in the middle of her number and start to cry?
Could be she got a cinder in her eye. But just to make sure, I'll go ask her.
See you later, Tommy. Come on, fella. How's about buying a girl a drink?
Oh, sure, in a minute. About this Franny.
Look, do we have to talk about her? I thought you came in here for some fun.
Maybe I get my fun wondering about people. What time is the next floor show?
Next one's at 2, then 4.
Oh, they're not kidding about this all-night business.
And still another one at daylight.
She's singing all of them?
How should I know? She missed most of the 12 o'clock show. Just got here for that last number.
Any idea where she lives?
A rooming house around on Erie Street.
Know the number?
391. You know you ask an awful lot of questions.
Well, that's my business. I'm a reporter, Randy Stone.
I might have known it. Look, you're not going to bother her tonight, are you? Of all nights?
Tonight?
This is the night that Charlie Dana's being executed down at Joliet.
What's that got to do with her?
Well, how would you feel? Look, Mr. Stone, she's human. This is the night her boyfriend's going to die.
I went up to the front of the bar to a phone booth and called the paper. There was something about this in the back of my mind somewhere, something I ought to remember but couldn't. I had the girl on the board put me through to Gabby in the library.
Library?
Oh, hello, Gabby. This is Randy.
Yeah, Randy?
What have you got on the Charlie Dana case?
Still a little early, Randy. Execution's not set until 1:30.
No, I mean old stuff.
Oh, I got the file right here, Randy. Dug it out earlier for background.
Good. Anything on a girl named Fran Fowler?
Yeah, let's see. Charlie Dana, small-time gambler, killed a guy named Danelli.
Oh, yes, I remember that. A gambling beat.
Execution originally set for November, but he got a couple of months stay. Oh, here she is, Fran Fowler. Singer in a nightclub, was supposed to be his alibi, but the DA blew her up on the witness stand. She admitted she wasn't positive about when she'd been out with the guy.
Oh, yeah, that was it. I knew it was something. Anything more?
Oh, details, Randy, details.
Okay, Gabby, thanks. I'll catch up with you. Oh, Mason. Excuse me, were you waiting to use the phone?
No, I was waiting to talk to you.
Why, certainly, but this time, no jokes, if you don't mind. I'm expecting a headache.
You're not funny, Stone. Who are you talking to?
Well, isn't that kind of my business?
Peggy says you're a reporter.
Yes, of a sort.
You were asking about Fran, where she lived?
That's right.
You gotta let her alone, see? You printed enough about her.
Just a minute, Mason. Those are my lapels that you're hanging on to.
Peggy shouldn't have given you Fran's address. I don't want you bothering her.
I said let go of my lapels, funny man, or something's liable to explode in your face. Now, you stay out of my way, or I'll ruffle that shiny hair.
Where you going?
See about a cinder in a lady's eye.
You're not going to see her. I won't let you. Can't you see this whole thing's driving her crazy?
Tommy, believe me, I'm not interested in harming her or anyone. I'm just a guy trying to do a job. Now, if you'll step out of my way...
You're not going there. I won't let you. I won't let you.
Sorry, but you asked for it. My, that's a real nervous fella. Now that he'd made such an issue out of it, going around to see Fran Fowler was a definite must on my schedule. I picked up my car and drove over to Erie Street. 391 wasn't much different from any of the rest of the rooming houses on the block. I got the number of her room from the mailbox and started down the dingy corridor to room 8. I knocked at the door, but there was no answer. I knocked again, and then I smelled gas. Hey, anyone in there? Miss Fowler! Fran! I put my shoulder to the door, and the flimsy lock snapped open. I rushed into the gas-filled room, holding my breath until I could smash open the window and let in some air. And then I saw Fran Fowler, the girl from the park, lying across the bed. And on the table beside her, one of those 2 burner gas stoves with both jets wide open. I turned them off and started shaking the girl. Miss Fowler, Franny, come on, get up. You gotta get out of here. Look, am I gonna have to carry you?
Put me down.
You little fool, this room is filled with gas.
My purse.
Where?
On the table.
Okay, I've got it.
Oh.
Fine thing with a gun in it.
Give that to me.
Outside, baby, outside. It was 6 seconds flat when we hit the sidewalk in the fresh air. I put Fran in the front seat of my car and then ran around and climbed in behind the wheel. I headed out to Sheridan Road along the lake. The cool, clean air felt good in my lungs, and I could see Fran drinking it in, realizing now how close she'd been. I didn't make her talk until we were a long way out of town. Then I pulled over to the beach side of the road and killed my motor. We, seem to keep bumping into each other in the strangest places tonight.
I guess I should say thanks.
No, not at all. I'm the one who should say thanks. I still haven't returned your matches.
Please don't make fun of me.
No, I'm not. You see, I know now who you are.
Charlie Dana's girl. Why don't you say it?
In my book, you're just a kid I met in the park.
What time is it?
It's 1:45.
Then...
Yes, it's probably all over by now. Like me to turn on the radio?
No. No, I don't want to hear about it.
You must love him an awful lot.
Love him? I despise him.
But still you were willing to alibi for him on a murder charge?
I wasn't. I told him I wasn't sure of the time I was out with him, but he made me say it was the exact hour when the man was killed.
Didn't you realize you might have been perjuring yourself?
I didn't lie. I just didn't remember. It might have been like he said. When you're not sure, what else can you do?
Yeah. How'd you happen to get mixed up with him?
I didn't know anybody when I first came here. I was lonesome.
And he was nice to you.
He was. A lot more decent than most of the men who want to take you out when you're working in a club.
Then why do you hate him now?
I didn't know what he did. A lot of people gamble. I didn't think too much about it. Then we got to going out evenings between shows at the club on my nights off.
And the killing happened when you and he were supposed to have been out someplace together?
That's what he said. He wasn't arrested until a few weeks after the trouble. I couldn't remember if I'd been with him during that particular time or not.
Well, it's all over now. You did what you had to. That's about all any of us can do. But you got to forget about it. Put it out of your mind. There's nothing more to worry about.
Oh, that's just it. You don't understand. There is.
What are you talking about?
He promised. He promised, and I know he'll keep his promise.
Promised what?
I went to see him in prison.
In the death house?
I had to. I wanted him to understand, but he said I tricked him.
What, by telling the truth on the witness stand?
He said I double-crossed him, but now he didn't care.
Why would he say that?
He said he didn't care because the night he died, I would die. And I'm afraid.
You are listening to Nightbeat, starring Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone.
This was real. This was no act. The sound she made would tear you to pieces, like some pitifully frightened animal who'd lost everything in the world. I let her cry it out. After all those months of strain, she'd have to get it out of her system.
He said the night he died, I'd die.
Sure. So you were scared. Who wouldn't be? But don't you see, that's just a cruel boast made by a cheap hoodlum who's trying to hurt you, make you feel responsible for his own plight.
But he meant it. I know he did.
Well, maybe he did at the time, but you've got nothing to worry about now. You had nothing to do with it. He paid for his own crime. Now he's dead, and you're still alive.
He'll keep his promise.
How can he? He's dead.
I know you think I'm crazy.
No. But has anyone really tried to harm you?
Oh, but this wasn't the night he was supposed to.
Yes, I know. The execution was originally set for November.
It was that night in November. I hadn't been afraid before. I thought it was like you said, because he was bitter. But all that day I was upset. I told him at the club I couldn't work, and late in the afternoon I got a note from Peggy saying why didn't I go out to her cabin at the dunes for a couple of days. Nobody would bother me, no reporters, and I could get a good rest. So I drove out there that evening. It was quiet. Nothing around. Just empty sand dunes and her cabin all alone on the edge of the lake. I called Peggy at the club to let her know I got in all right.
Oh, hello, Fran. Where are you calling from?
Why, from your place.
My apartment?
No, your cabin.
At the dunes?
It was swell of you, Peggy, to let me come out here.
Well, of course, Franny. You're welcome to use the place, but I don't quite know what you mean.
Well, your note this afternoon telling me to come out here.
I didn't write you any note.
Oh, come on, Peggy. You did. You even told me where the key'd be under the flower pot.
But, kid, that's where we always keep it. Everybody knows that.
Peggy, I...
Now, don't worry about it, kid. One of the girls probably sent you the note and just hasn't had a chance to tell me about it yet. I should have thought of it myself in the first place.
No, wait, Peggy. I'm scared.
Well, what in the world of?
You remember what I told you about what Charlie said the last time I saw him?
Prison?
It was about tonight that he said when he died...
Cut it, Franny. Now cut it before you drive yourself
Peggy,
back.
I'm all alone and I'm scared. I don't know what to do.
Fran, you gotta hang up right away. You shouldn't be out there all alone tonight. Get in your car and come back to town as fast as you can. I'll wait for you here.
All right, Peggy. All right. I hung up the phone and ran out of the house to my car. I turned on the ignition key and stepped on the starter. It wouldn't start. My car wouldn't start. I looked at the gas gauge. Empty. Somebody had drained the gas out of my car. I got out in a panic and started toward the highway. But there was a car out there, parked behind a big sand dune. I turned and ran back to the house. It was like some crazy, frightening nightmare. I didn't know what I was doing, but somehow I managed to get inside and lock the door. And then suddenly I was at the telephone. Operator? Operator, answer me. Operator, you've got to answer. I want the police. Operator, please help me. Someone... Operator! It was no use. The line was dead. While I was outside, someone had pulled the wires away from the wall. Crawled over to the window. Looked out to the highway. There was a car out there. Its lights were on. But as I looked, they went out. And now, I was alone. In the dark. With him out there. I must have passed out. When I came to, it was morning, and Peggy was there. She and Tommy had driven out after the club closed to find me.
But you see, you didn't die that night.
But neither did he.
Could have been your imagination, you know, this man in the car.
No. The news about this day of execution was on the radio. The man in the car must have heard it and gone away.
Did you call the police?
They didn't believe me. Just because I'm a nightclub singer, they said I was trying to get publicity.
How about the car not starting and the telephone being dead?
According to them, my car was just out of gas, and I must have pulled the telephone wires off the wall myself.
In the panic you were in, you could have.
But I didn't. I tell you, I didn't.
All right. Anyway, it's tonight that we're concerned with.
I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do.
Well, if it's true, this fear you have, you've got to find it out tonight. If you don't, it'll haunt you the rest of your life.
Oh, I know, but how?
You've got to go back to your room.
Oh, no, I'm afraid.
I'll be with you. I've still got your gun, remember? By the way, what were you going to do with that?
I didn't have the nerve to use it. Even on myself.
Well, if anything is going to happen, it'll happen tonight. Not tomorrow or any time after that, but tonight. We'll go back to your place now and wait. Until it's daylight. I drove Fran back to the rooming house on Erie Street. There were no lights on anywhere in the building. We tiptoed down the empty corridor to Fran's room, listened at the door a minute, and went in. The door closed all right, but it wouldn't lock. I must have sprung it when I forced the door. We settled down and waited. For what? Once I thought I heard steps on the sidewalk far out front. It was that still. And then I did hear steps, slowly coming down the hall.
There's someone in the hall.
Keep it down.
He stopped outside the door.
Don't move.
Who's that knocking at my door? Who's that knocking at my door? Who's that knocking at my door?
Okay. Go ahead, kid. Go ahead. You got it coming.
I'm sorry. I'm all right now.
Nothing to be sorry about. I was kind of scared myself. It's a funny thing about fear. It's catching. Look out the window.
It's almost light.
And this all night has gone for good. You see? It was all in your mind. Things you were frightened of. It was nothing, really. You won't be afraid if I go now.
No. I've caused you an awful lot of trouble.
Oh, now, you cut that out or you'll get me going.
And the kids at the club, I guess I should go back there and let them know I'm all right.
What the doctor ordered for you is a little shut-eye. I'll stop by on my way and give them the word.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, here's your gun. You might want to pawn it for a couple of pair of nylons. Yes, a real nice tomato-type tomato, as the funny man at the club would say. On the way over, I got thinking about him and that girl, Peggy. Come to think of it, that was one point Fran had forgotten to clear up for me, about the note that sent her out to Peggy's cabin at the dunes that night. Yeah, my mind wouldn't let go of that. When I got to the club, it was daylight, and they were folding up the joint, and Peggy was sitting alone at the bar.
Well, you got a nerve coming back here after...
How's your boyfriend?
He's not my boyfriend.
It's a figure of speech. Where is he?
He just left.
Okay, I'll settle for you.
If you don't mind, it's a little late for small talk, mister.
Okay, I'll give it to you fast. It's about that note you wrote to Fran Fowler last November on the night Charlie Dana was supposed to die.
What note?
Little late for small talk, remember?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know anything about a note inviting Fran to stay out at your place at the dunes?
I told her. I didn't know who wrote it.
Or were you telling the truth?
Yes, I was.
Okay, maybe you were. But you found out later who wrote it, didn't you?
No,
Now tell me the truth. Or would you rather tell the police?
All right. I did find out, but it wasn't like you think.
Well, who was it?
Tommy Mason.
Tommy Mason, the funny man? His idea of a joke, no doubt. A hilarious joke that might have scared a poor kid to death.
No, you're wrong. It wasn't a joke.
Well, then why? Why did he do it?
Because he's in love with her. He made me swear I wouldn't tell her. He wanted to wait until the time when she needed him, and then he'd tell her himself.
Until she needed him? How was he going to make her need him? Use a condemned murderer's empty threat to frighten her out of her sanity so she'd need him? Is he crazy?
He is where Fran's concerned.
Where is he?
I don't know. He's been like a maniac all night since you left here. After every show, he's gone over to Fran's place looking for her. He's crazy jealous.
Jealous of whom?
Of you. He thought she was with you.
What if she were?
This was the night. He was sure she would need him, and instead she turned to you. Don't you see?
Yes, I do now. Thanks. It was only about a half mile to Fran's, but it seemed more like 20 miles until I turned off Clark up Erie Street and slammed into the curb. There was no one on the street. I was hoping he'd walked and I'd pass him on the way, but there was no one. I ran down the narrow hall, not daring to think what I'd find, and I flung open the door. Are you alone?
Well, you frightened me.
Are you alone?
Well, yes, I've been sitting here since you left. I'm too tired to undress.
Come on, let's get out of here. Grab your coat.
But
Never mind. I'll tell you on the way. I shoved Fran out the door, and we started cautiously back down the hall. We got about halfway when I grabbed her arm. The front door was opening slowly, and a man made a dark silhouette against the gray light of the dawn. It was the funny man. The man with the slick, shiny hair and the permanent smile and the fast jokes. Only the smile was gone, and he had a gun in his hand.
Keep coming. Keep coming.
We started towards him slowly.
Tommy, it was you? You who were going to kill me?
You didn't know. You didn't know that I had a heart, too, just like Charlie Dana did.
Tommy, you never told me.
You never let me. You didn't need me. You would have laughed at me like you laughed at my jokes.
It couldn't have been you at the dunes that night.
I followed you out there.
And then drove back to the club. No, Tommy, no.
You were lonesome, but you didn't need me. You needed Charlie Dana. I thought if you were afraid, you'd need me. And then you were afraid, but still you didn't need me. But I'd make you need me. I'd make you.
Step by step, we moved closer.
Keep coming.
I could see his face twisted with jealousy and hate, his eyes wild, as though a spark might make him explode.
And tonight, when you were afraid and should have needed me, you didn't. You turned to him.
Tommy, please.
But now you need me. Now that I have my finger on this trigger, you need me more than you've ever needed anyone in your life. You need me. You need me, Franny. You need me. Say it. Say you need me. I can't shoot. I can't shoot.
He started to shake, and I ran forward and grabbed his gun.
Look out!
Drop it. It's all right. I've got the gun.
I can't.
Is he hurt?
Not to what he will be. Get up, funny man.
No. Don't be too hard on him. He didn't realize.
No, I guess maybe he didn't. It's funny, isn't it? You never really know what's going on in some of the best combed heads. Well, that's the way it goes. A little later than usual this morning. The day shift has already moved in and let the night crew wander off to their own private little beds. Well, at least I got to see the sun come up. And here I sit, still trying to make it all add up. But no matter how I figure it, the only answer I get is, you never know about people. But bless them, maybe that's why we love them. See that man walking towards you with a smile on his face? What's he smiling about? Or is it just so you won't notice how he's screaming inside? Ooh, the trouble with me is I haven't had my coffee yet. Copy, boy.
Nightbeat, a dramatic series, stars Frank Lovejoy as Randy Stone. Nightbeat is edited by Larry Marcus and directed by Warren Lewis. Music by Frank Worth. The part of Fran was played by Joan Banks. Paul Dubov played Tommy. Others in the cast were Georgia Ellis, Ken Christie, and Carol Richards. Frank Lovejoy will next be seen in Milton Sperling's production Rock Bottom, released by Warner Brothers. Throughout the week, NBC brings you the best adventure mystery dramas on the air. You'll hear action-packed, fast-moving plots to hold your interest right up to the smashing climax on such thrilling programs as Big Town, Mr. District Attorney, The Big Story, and Dragnet, every week on most of these NBC stations. On Dragnet, you'll hear documented cases from the Los Angeles police files. The Big Story brings you true tales from the front pages of America's newspapers. Mr. District Attorney, the champion of the people, takes you through an exciting episode in the conviction of a criminal. And tomorrow night on Big Town, you'll hear crusading editor Steve Wilson crack down on the forces of evil. For the best high-tension dramas, hear NBC's great mystery and adventure programs. Listen next week at this same time and every week as Randy Stone searches through the city for the strange stories waiting for him in the darkness. The stories that come out of the shadows to find their way into Nightbeat.
A short-run show ran for 2 years, did not take much traction. It was a pretty good show. Frank Lovejoy, a great actor, one of my favorites, again, in the dramatic realm. Not only Nightbeat, but also a couple of other. Probably my favorite Frank Lovejoy show is an episode of Suspense called The 32nd of December. You probably heard us do that here. All right, 75 years ago, February 27th, 1950, Nightbeat here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Up next, a man who played the Shadow at one point in time, Bill Johnstone, in the lineup.
Instead of going down, the annual rate of polio cases in this country is going up. Instead of growing panicky with fear in the face of such an unwelcome fact, there is a way in which we all can join the Army which is fighting to check this trend and ultimately defeat infantile paralysis. We can contribute to the March of Dimes. Give today so that the 1952 March of Dimes will be the biggest ever and a really potent fighting force against polio.
We continue now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox with an episode of The Lineup starring Bill Johnstone. This goes back 74 years, February 27th, 1951.
Ladies and gentlemen, in just a moment we'll take you behind the scenes of a police headquarters in a great American city, where under the cold, glaring lights will pass before us the innocent, the vagrant, the thief, the murderer. This is The Lineup. One of the best fighting generals of your United States Army said in an interview recently, "There is a common belief that all that is necessary to prepare a man for fighting in the Army is certain basic training. That is not true anymore. A modern Army has become a very complex organization with extremely complicated equipment, and very specialized training is necessary to prepare men to use it. To absorb this specialized training, the Army needs men with high mentality as well as excellent physical condition." Let's give that a moment's thought. What are you doing about that kind of need in the Army? You young men between 18 and 34. Can you qualify? It's a growing Army these days. And the men who can qualify, the men who go on to that special technical training after basic training, are learning valuable skills. They're the men this nation will always depend on in war or peace. Find out whether you can qualify. Go to your nearest U.S. Army and U.S. Air Force recruiting station tomorrow and volunteer.
Well, go down to the front, Mr. Polo.
Yeah, sure.
Now, excuse me. Yeah, here's a couple.
Right here?
Yeah.
You got one of the men.
I think so.
May I have your attention, please? You people out there on the other side of the wire in the audience room, may I have your attention, please? Thank you. My name is Greb, Sergeant Matt Greb. I'll explain the lineup to you. Each of the suspects you will see will be numbered. I'll call off a number, their name and charge. If you have any questions or identifications, please remember the number assigned to the prisoner as I call his name. At the end of each line, when I ask for questions or identifications, call out the number. If you're sure or not too sure of the suspect, have him held. The officers who took your name will assist you. They're seated among you. Please be prompt with your questions or identifications. When the prisoners leave here, they are sent to the washroom and dressed back into their jail clothes. It makes it quite difficult to bring them back after they leave here. The questions I ask these suspects are merely to get a natural tone of voice. So do not pay too much attention to their answers, as they often lie. Bring on the line. All right, over to this side of the stage, boys. Come on, keep it moving. Okay, now turn and face front. Look right out there to the audience. Hands to your sides. Now, I don't want to tell you more than once, boys. Talk up so everybody can hear you. It's a long way to the back of the... Hey, you. You with a cigarette.
Me?
Where'd you get the cigarette?
Well, I got it, so what?
Quine.
I don't know. Where'd you get it, King?
What do you want from me? Lousy cigarette, I'll throw it away.
Okay, throw it away.
Just a lousy cigarette.
I don't know where he got it, Matt.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Ain't they supposed to smoke, Lieutenant?
Well,
All
they're
right,
cleaned
number
out
one,
before we put
Raymond
them in the
Conklin,
tank.
disturbing
We're not
the peace.
supposed to have anything on
Take
them.
your hands out of your pockets, Ray.
Okay.
Where do you live, Ray?
766 South Florida.
Where's that? What is it, a house, a hotel, or what?
A house.
I'll talk up, Ray.
Okay. A house!
The arresting officers say you were fighting.
That's right, I was fighting.
Well, who were you fighting with?
A guy. Guy in an alley. You know, he was doing a little fighting too, you know.
Who was he?
He's standing right behind me. Him, I don't know his name. I never saw him before.
Number 7, James Link.
Well, he started the whole thing.
You're crazy. That's not the truth, Sergeant.
I'll get to you, James.
Okay, but the jerk's not
Who
telling
you
us-
calling a jerk?
All right. Cut it out now. Move up against the wall, and you. You keep your face shut, James.
Okay.
All right, now, what's your business, Ray?
I'm a plumber, but I'm not working.
How'd the fight start?
I was in a bar with a dame. A girl. This guy, him, he's got a foul mouth.
What?
I don't mind, but the dame, the girl don't like it. I can't blame her.
I got a foul mouth.
Yeah, you.
Fine.
Come on, break it up.
Over against the wall. Go on.
Okay.
Now, you stay put. And you, James, you open your mouth again.
I'm sorry.
You see what I mean? This guy starts things like that.
Get him off, Quine. Get him off.
Come on, move.
Sure. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. These things don't happen very often.
Boy, they really went at it.
Yeah,
Okay,
we get
now,
all kinds.
Number 2, Clyde Helms, robbery. Where you from, Clyde?
Alabama.
Where in Alabama?
Morgan.
How long you been in town, Clyde?
About a week.
Where you been staying?
A hotel over on Lincoln Boulevard.
I know where that is. It's 214
You have a
Lincoln
car?
Boulevard, the Merrick.
No, sir.
Did you have a car in the robbery?
Yeah, but it wasn't mine.
What kind?
Chrysler.
Sedan, a coupe, or what?
Four-door sedan. Wanted a smaller one, but it was the only one with the keys in.
Any weapons?
Yeah, 32 automatic.
Anybody arrested with you?
No?
Okay, number 3, Dennis Haddock. Suspicion of murder.
You still here, Greg?
Yes, I'm still here. Just answer the questions, Haddock.
Lieutenant.
That the man?
Where do you live?
Same place.
Where is it?
Carlton Towers, 85th and Carlton.
What's your business?
You kidding, Greg?
What's your business, Haddock?
I play the stock market.
That's him. I'm sure
Any
that's him.
weapons when they
He was
picked
the
you
one
up?
with the gun.
Not a one.
Sergeant Graham.
Yes, Lieutenant.
Number 3, hold for interrogation.
Here he is, Ben.
Oh. Sit down, Haddock.
Okay.
We want a statement, Haddock.
Swell. Who's going to give it to you?
You're going to give it to us.
I'll give you nothing.
We got an identification, Haddock. A man saw you do the job.
What job? I don't know what you're talking about.
Our witness identified you in the line.
Nuts.
We've already got his statement. He identified you as the killer.
Nuts.
He'll go on the stand and he'll point you out. 1st degree. You know what the sentence is?
I hate to disappoint you.
The witness was in the park. He saw you tailing Crug.
I told you I wasn't tailing nobody.
You were picked up on the other side of the park.
So I was picked up on the other side of the park. I was walking. So what?
You kidding? Why, you killed Crug not 10 feet from the witness.
I didn't kill nobody. Now look,
The
copper,
witness saw it. Saw you knife Crug. Eyewitness.
I didn't kill nobody.
You put a knife in Leon Crug.
I don't get it. You really think you're going to beat this?
Look, if I didn't kill anybody, why shouldn't I beat
Who
this?
paid you to kill Crug?
Oh, how many times do I gotta
Who
tell
wanted
you?
him knocked off, huh?
I'm getting a little tired of this, boy.
We know who you work for, Haddock. We know Crug was marked.
Oh, now, really?
We know the whole setup. Word's been around for a long time.
So you know it. What do you want me to do, congratulate you?
You work for Jack Stefano.
I work for nobody. You guys are really getting pretty dull.
Stefano's got orders out. Every guy who might give him trouble is supposed to be taken care of.
You've been reading too many books.
Crug was the first. If you think we're going to let a gang war bust...
I don't think anything. Except maybe you guys are a little rum-dum.
We want Stefano, Haddock.
Go get him.
And you're going to help us put him away.
Oh, now that's a real bright one, Guthrie. I'm going to put Stefano away.
Yeah, you're going to put him away. Yeah. You knife Crug.
Oh, now
you
listen,
got paid
Greg.
for the job, and Stefano paid you.
Look, fellas, please, will you? Forget it, huh? You're not going to get anywhere with me.
Now, listen,
Don't
Haddock.
you get rough with me,
Take
Greb.
it easy, Matt. Wine.
Yeah, Ben.
Take him down.
Let's go, Haddock.
Sure.
We got you, and we're going to get Stefano.
Okay.
With or without you, we're going to get him.
Swell. You ready, Copper?
Who are you talking to, punk?
To you, Copper. To you.
Get him out, Quine.
Sure.
Oh, brother. Talk about gall.
Yeah, he really thinks that organization's got... Hey,
It's okay. He tripped.
look, Quine.
I mean it. He tripped. Didn't you?
Yeah.
Get him downstairs.
Come on.
Okay.
Oh, you hurt your ankle, huh?
Makes a difference?
I ask you a question.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard it.
He tripped.
Sure.
But this whole thing is liable to get pretty serious.
Yeah, I know it.
Stefano's out to take over the syndicate. He's got a big organization now.
And more than one guy like Haddock.
And Haddock's no dummy. That's why it's going to be hard to crack. He's sure Stefano can spring him.
Can he, Ben?
Not as long as we got a witness. So let's put a couple of men on that witness just to play it safe, huh?
Yeah. You coming to dinner tonight?
Sure.
Molly said about 7. Oh, don't let me forget. I gotta stop and pick up a quart of ice cream. Who's with Polo?
I put McCarthy and Waldron with him. Quine and Ash will take over in the morning.
Going down with me tomorrow?
Down where?
The Red Cross, I told you. Give him some blood.
Oh, yeah. Well, it'll have to be in the afternoon around 2.
Fine. Oh, here's a market.
Yeah. Give me a pack of cigarettes, will you?
Right.
I'll see what's going on.
Okay, Al. Just be a minute.
All right, take your time.
87 of 415 at the corner of Elm and Vista. 73 and 77, code
Hi,
6.
mister.
Well, hello, son.
Are you a policeman?
That's right.
Where's your uniform?
Well, I don't wear one. I'm a detective.
I'm a cowboy.
You sure are. That's a pretty dandy outfit.
I'm a Hoppy Ranger.
Yeah? What's your name?
Jamie Martin Fisher. I got a gun. I could shoot you.
Now, you wouldn't want to shoot me.
Sure I would.
Oh! You got me.
Have him make a code
You need some help, Lieutenant?
Oh, better put out a APB for a dangerous cowboy. I'm dying, Sergeant.
I'll shoot you, too.
If I give you a nickel, will you let me go, huh?
Sure. Gimme.
43.
There you are.
Okay, I won't shoot you.
You see, you got to know how to handle these situations. Come on, Lieutenant. I'd better get you to a hospital.
So long, Jamie.
Thanks for the nickel.
So long, cowboy.
He's a hoppy ranger.
You don't say.
Attention, all units.
Hey.
All units in area
Here's
Q.
something.
211,
We're in that area.
993 West Orange. Ambulance on the way. All units in
What?
area Q.
That's just a couple of blocks.
211 at
You gonna take it?
993 West Orange.
Ambulance on
Yeah.
the way.
That's where Mr. Polo lives, our witness.
Let us through, please. Let us through.
Up there, the second floor up there, somebody's hurt.
Now, who are you?
The landlord, it's my building. There's been a shooting.
Come on, man.
The second floor, second.
Waldron.
Shotgun went up. I opened the door. Shotgun. I think McCarthy got it bad. Second floor. Go on.
Stay with him, man.
Crawl down. I tried to get to a phone.
McCarthy. Oh. Mac.
Oh. Ben. Polo. Over there.
Okay.
Dead?
Yeah. Now, take it easy. Take it easy. Now. Ambulance is on the way.
Just walked in. Some guy with a shotgun. My face.
Take it easy. Did you know him?
Lights were out. No. Ben.
Yeah.
Wait.
While we're talking about your United States Army's need for the best young people, let's take a minute to look at the vital job women are doing in today's growing Army, too. The Women's Army Corps, a great corps with a tradition its women are proud of, is today serving alongside the men of the Army. Women of that corps, working on equal terms with men, are doing interesting jobs. Jobs of vital importance in the support of your Army's combat soldiers. Jobs in challenging fields. They're working in technical fields, secretarial posts, in supply, and in hundreds of the most interesting locations in the world. How about you, young women between 18 and 34? Can you qualify for the Women's Army Corps? If you can, there's a great opportunity for you in today's growing U.S. Army, an Army with a challenging job to do. Stop in at your nearest U.S. Army and U.S. Air Force recruiting station and find out about your place in the Women's Army Corps.
Go get Haddock, Mac. Bring up my office. I'll be over as soon as I see the chief.
Right.
Oh, Charlie.
Hello, Ben.
We were the first ones over there, Charlie. A couple of blocks away when we got the call. Waldron may pull through.
What have you got?
Nothing more than you have. Waldron didn't see the guy, neither did McCarthy. Came home with Polo. Polo opened the door, and when they stepped in, blam, both barrels. Killed Polo instantly. McCarthy got it in the face, Waldron in the chest. Waldron crawled to the first floor. Killer got out the window. Well, with Polo dead, we'll never be able to hold Haddock.
Oh, get anything on Stefano. Stefano will spring Haddock as soon as the news breaks about our witness. He'll probably make him stay in a couple of days just to make it look good.
Yeah. I'm going to release Haddock.
Right away?
Yeah. What would you do if you were Haddock? You didn't know the witness against you'd been killed. What would you do if you were suddenly released?
I'd think one Lieutenant Guthrie was a little crazy.
Where would you go?
Not to Stefano. I'd figure maybe he wanted to tail me.
What if you were Haddock and I told you Stefano was going to kill you because you were the only man who could send him to prison?
Oh, now, wait a minute.
The witness is dead. A good cop is dead. Haddock isn't going to crack, you know
He'll
that.
never fall for it, Ben.
Wouldn't you? If when you got out on the street somebody picked you up and took you for a ride?
What are you talking about?
Nobody's going to get hurt.
Are you crazy?
Well, he might talk.
And you're a police officer.
Then you tell me how to get Stefano.
Well, that isn't the way.
One way or another, you're going to have to release Haddock. You know he killed Crug, but you have to release him, and there's nothing you can do about it.
You think I like it that way?
No. When Haddock finds out that the only witness against him is lying down in the morgue, he'll never talk.
Then we'll get Stefano another way.
Have you got the man who killed Polo and McCarthy?
No.
Have you got one little lead?
No, but you're a police officer, Ben.
Charlie, we got to work fast. Stefano's got an organization of killers.
But a stunt like this.
Well, it might work. We've got to stop Stefano.
Okay. Go on. Get out of here.
I'll need three-way communication, 2 command cars. Can you get me a waiver from the inspector for 2 command cars?
All right. But take it easy on the equipment.
Thanks, Charlie.
Told you, Ma. Don't you guys ever get tired?
Take him downstairs and turn him loose, Matt.
What?
Turn him loose?
That's right, Matt. Turn him loose.
Right. Well, let's go, Haddock.
I've been sprung?
I'm springing you.
You, what is this?
You heard the lieutenant. Now let's go.
Now, wait a minute. I don't get it.
You don't have to. You can take a walk. I'm not holding you.
Oh, come on. Somebody got a writ or something?
No writ, no something. I want you out on the street, Haddock.
Okay, but I don't get it.
You will.
Let's go.
Now, wait a minute. What is it, Guthrie? How come?
The word's out, Haddock. Stefano's afraid you'll talk.
You're crazy.
Look, you tell us about Stefano. We'll see you get protection.
Oh, that's it. Well, you don't squeeze me, Guthrie. You don't squeeze me a bit. Pretty weak try.
Take him down and check him out, man.
Sure, take me down and check me out. You don't fool me a bit, Guthrie.
Come on, Punk.
Pretty bad, Guthrie.
Move it.
You don't think I...
Move!
Yeah, Lieutenant.
Asher, get Quine and meet me in the garage right away. All right, now here it is. In 5 minutes, Haddock will walk out on the street. He's never seen you before, has he, Asher?
No.
Okay, I want you to follow him. Let him know you're following him.
Okay.
Quine?
Yeah.
You're in a command car. A prowl car each spot. Take the command car and follow about half a block away.
Right.
Matt and I'll be in the other car. We'll stay away out of sight. And you keep us notified on Haddock's movements.
Well, if you're being so careful, why let him spot me?
I hope he thinks you're one of Stefano's men. I want to scare him right out of his socks.
You just want me to keep tailing him, huh?
That's right. Until you've got him good and worried. Then pick him up, throw a gun on him. You're supposed to be one of Stefano's boys, you understand?
Oh.
Walk him to a quiet spot, scare him all the way. Make it look like you're going to kill him. The 3 of us will bust in at the right time.
Okay, Ben.
Now look, Haddock's pretty smart. He's not going to fall for anything unless it looks awful good.
Okay, we'll make it look good. We'll get rough.
All right, we'll put on a good fight, so take care of yourself.
Think it'll work?
I don't know. You got 3 minutes. Get going.
I'm at the signal at the corner of 81st and Lincoln. Haddock's going north. I think he spotted Asher.
Turn here, man. We'll stay in the next block running parallel.
Left?
Yeah.
He turned up 84th, walking pretty fast. He spotted Asher all right.
Turn up 83rd.
Right.
He's stopping and looking out a window, Ben. 300 block. Asher stopped, too. Haddock can't miss it. Knows he's got a tail. Well, he's leaving the window. He's going to grab a cab.
Follow him. If Asher doesn't get a cab, we'll pick him up and follow you.
Right.
Want me to swing over on 84th?
No, hold it. Stop here.
He got his cab, heading north on 84th. It's okay. Asher got another cab. Cab's stopping. Haddock's getting out. Asher's out, too. Haddock's going into the Carlton Towers, 85th and Carlton. Asher followed him in.
Park someplace. We'll pick you up.
Right.
Let's go over, man.
Carlton Towers. That's where Haddock lives. It's 11:30.
Maybe Haddock isn't going to come out. Maybe he's just going to lock himself in and have his...
There he is.
There's Asher. Oh, look at that pickup. Look at Haddock.
Yeah, he nearly fainted.
All right, let's go. We'll stay on this side of the street. Keep back far enough.
Haddock isn't going to spot us, Ben. He isn't looking around for anything. He thinks he's taking his last walk.
Yeah, up Carlton, right for the river.
Funny if a patrolman spotted it. Asked them what they were doing.
Hilarious.
The crowd's thinning out. Take the other side of the street, Quine.
Okay.
You better drop back, man.
Sure.
Come on.
Where are they?
Out on that dock. Now stay next to the building. Stay out of sight until we get close enough. I'll give you the word.
Okay.
Wait a minute, will you? Look, I just talked to Stefano.
Shut up. Walk to the edge of the dock.
No, wait.
Walk.
I don't get it. Stefano said Barney got the witness. What do you want me for?
Move.
Look, I didn't tell him anything. I'm not going to open my mouth. You think I'm crazy?
I told you, move.
No, wait. No, wait a minute, will you please?
Turn and face the water.
No, please don't.
Drop the gun.
No. Come here, get him, hurry up.
Where are you? Okay, come on.
Grab him, will you?
Get him. Come on. Take it. Dirty no good.
Scuther, he was going to kill me.
Yeah, I know.
Stand back.
We tailed you, Haddock.
That rat, Stefano, that dirty, stinking rat.
Want to tell us about it?
Yeah, what do you want to know?
Who do you think you're kidding, copper? You can't hold me in like this.
Oh, you're wrong, Stefano. You're going to be in for a long time.
I'll be out of here in an hour.
I hate to tell you, but your boy Haddock spilled his guts all over the precinct.
I don't know no Haddock. He ain't no boy of mine.
Signed a sworn statement, but you're going to get life for sure.
You're nuts.
Maybe you'd like to see him.
Sure, I'll see him.
Ben, we got Stefano.
Oh, bring him in.
Go ahead.
How do you like it, Stefano?
Shut up, Haddock.
I've done all my talking. Sure, I'll shut up, but they're going to put you away for a long time, Stefano.
Why, you dirty...
Try to get me knocked off, huh? Some send two-bit hood to...
What are you talking about? I didn't send nobody.
You're a filthy liar. Now you're going to get yours.
Shut up.
How do you like it, huh? How do you like it?
Ben?
Oh, come on in, Asher.
Hey, him.
Hello, Haddock.
Hey, what is this?
You two haven't met, have you? Dennis Haddock, Sergeant Asher.
Sergeant? But he's the guy... Stefano, I thought he was one of your boys.
You stupid idiot. You've been had.
I've been framed. This is a dirty, no-good
frame. You stupid.
Get away! Get him away from me!
Break it up there now. Break it up. All right, get over there, Haddock, and shut up.
Keep him off of me.
Now fix that stupid little...
Shut up, Stefano.
Don't yell at me, Greb.
Shut up and sit down.
You don't tell me to do nothing, copper. You don't shove me around and tell me to do nothing.
That's for two good cops, Stefano.
A few minutes ago, we quoted a famous fighting man on the subject of the Army's need for men of high mental qualifications to absorb technical training. Here's something else the General said in that same interview. That is only a part of our need. There is another need in the Army, and one that is not generally understood, for men of high intelligence and ability to lead our combat units. Combat leaders are specialists, too, and require specialized training, just as do the technicians. That's worth thinking about for a moment. Old soldiers will tell you that it's good training plus the best leadership that pays off, that brings a man through the tough places and keeps him effective. Not every young American between the ages of 18 and 34 can qualify for the kind of specialized training the Army requires. But how about you? Can you qualify? Visit your nearest U.S. Army and U.S. Air Force recruiting station tomorrow and take a look at your opportunities in your growing United States Army. The lineup, where before you pass the innocent, the vagrant, the thief, the murderer. Listen again next week when we again bring you The Lineup.
May I have your attention, please? You people out there on the other side of the wire in the audience room, may I have your attention, please? Thank you. My name is Greb, Sergeant Matt Greb. I'll explain the lineup to you. Each of the suspects you will see will be numbered. I'll call off a number, their name, and charge. If you have any questions or identifications, please remember the number assigned to the prisoner as I call his name. At the end of each line, when I ask for questions or identifications, call out the number. If you're sure
The Lineup, starring Bill Johnstone as Lieutenant Ben Guthrie and Wally Mayer as Sergeant Matt Greb, is written by Blake Edwards, with music by Eddie Dunstetter. Featured in tonight's cast were Ed Begley, Jay Novello, Lou Krugman, Bill Conrad, Sam Edwards, Stacey Harris, Gene Bates, Jeffrey Silvers, and Hy Averback. The Lineup is produced and directed by Jaime Del Valle. Dan Cubberly speaking. This is CBS, the Star's address, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
If there was a show where we'd hear the line, just the facts, ma'am, it would be this program, The Lineup, going back 74 years, February 27th, 1951, on this Thursday, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. On Friday, we'll have Fred Allen, also Jack Benny, and Mr. Ace and Jane, Goodman and Jane Ace, in an episode of their show called Hiring a Maid and Claudia. That'll all be coming up. All right, I know that we're supposed to be dramatic today, and no matter whether it's serious or funny, I tend to put the science fiction in the dramatic category. But you're going to hear an episode of X-1 that kind of leads to the humorous side, an episode of X-1 entitled Real Gone.
You know, this is still the season for carefree holidays and vacations. But don't be carefree on the highway. With roads jammed with traffic, this is the time to be extra careful when driving. When you plan a trip, be sure to allow plenty of time so that you won't be forced to drive too fast or too long. When you get tired at the wheel, you lose your skill and your judgment. So don't drive too many hours at a stretch. Plan your trip so that you can stop frequently and get plenty of rest. And when you start that trip, resolve that you're going to obey traffic laws and regulations. Don't gamble with safety. Remember, the life you save may be your own.
Now on this episode of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, you're going to hear a real hepcat disc jockey. Yes, his name is Al Jazzbo Collins, and he was quite famous out on the West Coast in 1957. Played a lot of jazz music, a lot of pop music, and was not so much hip on the easy listening stuff. This episode of X-1 goes back 68 years to February 27th, 1957. As you would expect from a hepcat DJ, the name of the episode, Real Gone.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents X-1. Tonight, Real Gone, starring Al Jazzbo Collins. Playing, of all things, Al Jazzbo Collins.
Oh, come in. Come in. Glad to see you. Albert here, your Collins friend. Just a minute. I'll close the door. You know, when you run a disc jockey show, the song pluggers just seem to ooze through the grain of the wood. There. Now, we won't be bothered for a while. Have a seat. I'll take this record off the chair. Hound Dog. Exclusive to me. Sung by Helen Traubel with the Vienna State Symphony Orchestra, under the direction of Felix Weingartner. Now sit down. You do the writing for that Real Gone show on NBC, don't you? That X-1 with the rocket ships and the three-headed men from Mars and all that jazz. Well, that's why I asked you up. I ran into a little something. Just an idea, you know. I figured maybe you could English it up and use it. It's about a friend of mine, Ralph Therian. Did you ever hear of him? He's an artist. I don't mean records or a musician. I mean an artist, a sculptor. I ran into him during the war. He used to sit in the barracks making busts of the sergeants out of GI soap. And when they had him on KP, they couldn't trust him to peel potatoes. He'd end up doing caricatures of the captain and the lieutenants out of raw spuds. Man, he was the greatest. He got the whole company restricted for a week when we were stationed somewhere near Boston. It snowed, and he made a life-size statue out of snow and ice depicting the captain sitting in a howdah on the back of an elephant. The captain didn't mind so much, but the elephant happened to look like the regimental colonel, and he took a dim view of the entire affair. Ralph studied in France somewheres under the GI Bill of Rights, and I used to run into him once in a while on 57th Street. He's looking kind of hungry and desperate. Then one day, a couple of green weeks ago, I ran into him on Madison Avenue, and, man, he looked like he belonged. He had one of them Tyrolean chapeaux with the shaving brush stuck on one side, an important German loading coat, and he was carrying a snakeskin dispatch case.
Al! Albert!
Well, hello, Ralph, my friend.
Well, you're looking great, Al. Hey, I like that beard.
Thanks.
Kind of gives your face the Mount Rushmore quality.
It's generally admired, my friend, but what brings you over here on this Street of Dreams? I was under the impression an artist was immediately downgraded 3 degrees of integrity when he set foot on Madison Avenue.
I was just up seeing a client.
A client? You've given up the sculpting kick.
Oh, no. I'm just working in a new medium.
Well, you look real prosperous.
How do you like the shoes?
Oh, very dapper. Very dapper. I don't believe I've ever seen lizard skin huaraches before.
Had them imported. Made underwater by natives of Ecuador.
Yeah.
Takes about 3 hours to have them made. So they use about 12 natives per pair.
Ralph, my friend, you give the general impression that you are loaded with loot.
I am. There's money in art. Money. You've just got to get something new. Here, wait a minute. Let me open my case. Here, Al. Take a look at this.
What is that, an ice cube?
Look inside.
Now, man, that's real entrancing. What is it?
That is a detailed copy of Rodin's The Kiss.
Pretty sexy. How do you do it?
Well, you see, I carve it from underneath the plastic block.
Oh, it looks sort of solid to me. How do you get in?
Well, look at the bottom. You see that little hole? I worked through there with my engraving instruments. Of course, this is just a sample. I've been doing originals mostly.
What are the little cubes good for? Paperweights, I guess, huh?
This is art, Albert, art. Do you know how much I get for one of these?
Beats me.
$5,000.
Oh, that's a pretty stiff price for a paperweight.
Well, you just don't understand, Al. This is the hottest thing since Picasso. I just sold 2 original compositions to Morgenstern. You know, the dealer from Philadelphia? For $25,000.
25? Wow. Boy, I should have paid attention when Mama bought me that clay when I was a little boy.
Well, it's about time the creative artist got a little bit of recognition.
Recognition's not the point, man. At 25 G's, I wouldn't care if people walked past me in high noon.
That's because you're not an artist. The money's secondary.
Money is never secondary. Money is the primariest thing there is.
Al, would you be interested in a fine original composition?
Well,
I'll make a special price for you, Albert. $4,000.
No, Ralph, my friend, I keep my papers from blowing off my desk with my right foot and my left piled one on top of the other, and I find that quite adequate to the needs and aspirations.
Al, the trouble with you is you've got no soul.
The trouble with me is I have not got $4,000. This sort of thing is happening to me all the time. For example, I have a barber who plays unaccompanied Bach chaconnes with a 1/4-inch drill and a length of steel pipe. I figured Ralph Therian was stringing me until I ran into Vladimir Osepsky. Now, Vladi is one of these men who leads a double life. He composes concerti and avant-garde operas under his Square moniker, but he's better known in the Brill Building as Larry Oss. He got in on the ground floor of this rock and roll affair, and he took an already substantial fortune and ran it up to a fantastic munificence. Larry has money he hasn't even folded yet, and he collects art. I was up at his house one night discussing such things as Tin Roof Blues and Wozzeck by Albin Berg, and Larry got around to showing me his collection.
Now, this is Picasso.
Larry, that's what I call cool brushwork, my man. Cool.
I homed it next to the Tintoretto for contrast.
Well, this stuff runs into a pile of loot.
Well, I figure since I've launched rock and roll on an unsuspecting public, the least I can do is collect old masters and leave them to the nation when I die.
It figures. I mean, that figures.
Here's my latest. Look, isn't it beautiful?
You mean this hunk of plastic?
Well, yes. Look into it. That design, that composition, the delicacy of that line. Well, this is the most exciting discovery in art since the invention of red paint.
Larry, was this piece of Jim Crackery executed by one Ralph Therian?
That's right. You know him?
Mm-hmm.
Remarkable talent. Remarkable. A genius.
And how much did this stroke of genius cost you, if you don't mind my mentioning a crude thing like money?
Not at all. Not at all. It was a steal. I got it from Morgenstern. Oh, I outfoxed him. I got it from him for only $30,000.
Yeah, you outfoxed him, all right. Tell me something, Larry. What makes this worth $30,000?
Albert, what makes a Stradivarius worth $30,000 and a fiddle played on the street by a beggar? $3, huh?
You mean his stuff is that good?
It's art, Albert. This is art. This is genius. To work with such delicacy and such control and such genius in so small a space. You see, that's it. This plastic block is how long? About 2 inches? And yet within this 2 inches is the majesty, the feeling of a sculpture 20, 30 feet high. This is an art which has not been known in the world since the painters of miniatures in the late Renaissance.
Why, then it's for real.
For real. This is the gem of my collection. The Picasso, the Renoir, the Cézanne will, in time, fade into insignificance. This is a new art form. Brilliant. Brilliant. And now let me play a new record we're putting out. It's called I Love You, Baby, 'Cause Your Lower Lip Drags on the Ground. A real cool, you bangy beat.
Well, I let Ralph Therian's new art form slip my mind for a while I struggled with song pluggers, advertising salesmen, account executives from the agency. And I met him again a few weeks ago at a small cultural establishment on the corner where I work. You might call it sort of branch public library with a brass rail.
Hey, what's the idea of putting this lemon peel in? If I wanted a fruit salad, I'd ask for it.
How do you do, Ralph, my friend?
Oh, hello, Al.
Ah, you look like you're thriving, my man.
Well, as a matter of fact, I just signed a contract with Morgenstern to deliver $100,000 worth of my original compositions. I'm celebrating.
In here? Ah, man, this place is only fit for sweating out the downhill phase on a manic-depressive psychosis.
Oh, I'm just starting here. I intend to work my way up. Albert, be my guest.
Well, I just had a difficult morning with the station manager who has an illusion in his little ricky-ticky mind that my program is the answer to Lawrence Welk and Guy Lombardo. He'd been trying to convince me to program 2 solid hours of Wayne King, relieved by vocals by Frank Crummett and Julia Sanderson. I had resisted, and I was in the mood for eating the lotus and forgetting. Several hours later, Ralph was feeling very confidential.
Albert, my friend, I like you. Why don't you shave?
Ralph, love me, love my beard.
I will try. Albert, you have the look of an Abraham Lincoln gone hog wild among the cream puffs.
Ralph, you have an artist's soul.
Albert, I trust you, I trust you, I trust you.
I am touched.
And so, Albert, I'm going to take you to my studio. My secret studio.
And I will reciprocate, my friend. Tomorrow, when I am doing my disc show, you may come to my secret studio. With the esteem that my program is held in today, tomorrow I'll be doing my broadcast from a small hole with a round iron top and plenty of running water below.
What time is it?
It's something.
I'm late. Hurry.
He took me to a loft somewhere down in the banana warehouse section. He had 3 locks on the door, and he opened them with 3 separate keys. I stepped inside and took a look around. The loft stretched a whole city block. The only thing that kept the New York Rangers from using it as a practice rink was the lack of ice. It was empty, except in one corner of the room there was a mess of machinery. Looked as if someone had eviscerated a television set and left it to die of shock. There was a weaselly-looking little man in a shiny blue suit standing in the middle of the floor tapping his foot.
Therian, I've been waiting for half an hour. Where have you been?
Now, take it easy, Burson. Take it easy. Plenty of time.
I've told you the active life of the catalyst is only... Who's this?
This is my friend Al. Al Collins.
Well, who is he? And what is he doing here? I've told you we must have no one here.
Now, he's my friend. I trust him.
Oh, I suppose you've told him all about it.
Yes, I have. Have you got the stuff?
Certainly I have. 3 ampules, but it won't last. You've got to hurry. Roll up your sleeves.
Oh, now, just a minute, both of you gentlemen. If I've been brought down here to witness the inoculation of a little happy juice into somebody's arm, I'm leaving. I have no desire to tangle with the Federal Narcotics Bureau.
Now, Albert, do I look like I'm taking narcotics?
I wouldn't swear to it.
You don't understand. In those little glass bottles is a secret of $100,000. And I'm going to show you how I do it. First, we take a plastic cube out of my pocket. So. We put it down on the grid in the middle of the floor. So. Now, if you will kindly step to the outside of the white line painted on the floor. Back there. Go ahead. Now, Mr. Burson, we'll turn on the machinery. Now, I take this vial of catalyst, thus, and pour it over the plastic block. So. Now, we wait.
We stood there at the edges of that loft and watched that tiny plastic block sitting in a frame on the middle of the floor. And then suddenly it began to grow. In about 20 minutes, that cute little plastic block stood about 20 feet on its side. It almost touched the skylight, and there was about a foot of clearance on each wall.
See, the long organic chain of molecules in the plastic is infinitely expandable under the right conditions.
Is that a fact?
By applying the right voltages in series, we can expand the cube to about this size. But there's an outside limit due to the cohesive charge on the molecules.
Oh, naturally, of course. Those molecules do stick together.
Well, it's the catalyst that does it. And I make that. I make the catalyst. Do you hear that, Therian? I make it.
Now calm down, Burson. Without me, you just have a great big blob of plastic. I'm the one who turns it into money. You see, Albert, a cube this big is as soft as putty inside. Now I take my pneumatic drill and I make a hole in the bottom. And then my tools, and I start to carve my pretty sculptures inside.
Therian, I'm warning you. I won't take this kind of treatment for long.
Now calm down, Burson. You're getting your 10% cut.
10%! 10%! Why, before I brought you this process, the only artwork you could get people to look at was mustaches on subway advertisements.
Burson, that is the typical wailing of the non-creative technician. Envy, pure envy for genius. Now look out. I'm going under there and start work.
I want 50%, Therian. 50%. That's only fair, isn't it? I put it to you, Mr. Collins.
Just keep me out of it, gentlemen. Leave me out of it.
I'm warning you, Therian. I'm warning you.
Just get out of my way, grease monkey. Let an artist work.
Ralph crawled under the giant cube and started to work. I could see what he was drawing, a collection of lovely ladies, something like the closing number at the Union City Burlesque. Didn't look very good. The lines were kind of thick and muddy, had a kind of a soft and sloppy quality to it, just about as if you were carving in butter. Took him about an hour, and then he crawled out.
Just about in time. Well, what does it say on that watch?
You've got about 20 seconds left. You cut it pretty fine there, Therian.
It's all right. It's a masterpiece. Wait a minute. Okay, now. There she goes.
Well, now, what happened was that plastic cube that was blown up to about 20 feet on the side suddenly popped like a balloon with a cigarette stuck in it. And what ended up was that tiny little 2-inch cube sitting in the middle of the floor. Ralph picked it up and brought it over.
Look at it. Beautiful. Beautiful. The work of genius.
The work of science.
Makes a real nice paperweight.
Albert, my friend, what you have just seen was the creation of a $20,000 masterpiece. Take a good look.
I did take a good look. The whole design was there. But what had looked to me like kind of a muddy, buttery picture when it was 20 feet high was now sharp and beautiful and clear as a snowflake. I went back to the studio and demonstrated my independence by scheduling 2 solid hours of Dizzy Gillespie. The next day, I got a telephone call just before I went on the air. It was Ralph asking me to come over to the studio. Said it was important. So, after the show, I shook the last song plugger out of my lapels and headed down to Ralph Therian's loft. I found that fellow Burson walking up and down at the edge of the room, looking at his stopwatch nervously. They had another plastic cube blown up in the middle of the room, and Ralph was inside the cube working. They were having quite an argument.
I know you got paid off today, Therian, $100,000. I know you got it, and I want my share, 50%.
Don't bother me, I'm working.
Hi, Ralph.
Oh, hi there, Albert. Just a minute. Wait till I crawl out.
I warned you. You can't say I didn't warn you. There'll be no more of the catalyst, no more.
Listen to him, Al. That's why I asked you over. I wanted a witness. And you're the only one who knew all about it already.
Oh, now look, gentlemen, I told you not to get me involved in this.
Now listen. This little worm, this test tube termite, had the gall to threaten not to bring any more of that catalyst.
But I warned you. I want my share of that 100,000.
If you'll excuse me, I'll get back into that masterpiece. That catalyst is only good for 2.7 hours. Hand me the drill, will you, Burson?
Here it is. But I warned you.
Boy, this plastic is tough today.
All right.
Feel lower grade.
I warned him. He must have the money here somewhere. Yes, it must be somewhere. Bills. Your check stubs.
What are you doing over there, Burson?
Looking. Just looking.
Well, if you're looking for that $100,000, you can stop. I've got it right here in my pocket. Now, don't bother me while I finish work.
What? Therian! Therian, come out of there! Come out!
I've got to finish just a little more.
Come out, you don't understand! Come out! Get out of my way, Mr. Collins!
With pleasure.
Therian, hand me that money. Quick!
Get out of my way, Burson. I'm working.
But listen, you don't understand. The catalyst.
Let go of me. Let go of me.
The catalyst. I made it up half strength. Give me that money, quick, the money.
Well, that's all there was to it. I figured out that little fella from the plastic company figured he'd get himself a new sculptor when he made up that catalyst half strength. The two of them were in there when the roof fell in. The roof and the walls. Well, that's about all there is to it. Figured you might be able to use the story. I wrote a few notes on it. They're here somewhere, under the paperweight. Oh, would you like to see the paperweight? Little plastic cube about 2 inches. Look in there. Two fellers with their hands around each other's throat. Looks realistic, don't it? As if they were squeezing. Of course, this one's an improvement on the work Ralph Therian did. This one's in full color.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features The Victim from Space. A time to sow, a time to reap, a time to live. All the Agathians agreed with this, but not when it came to a time to die. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, X-1 has brought you Real Gone by Ernest Kenoy, based on an idea by Al Jazzbo Collins, and starring Al Jazzbo Collins as himself. Featured in our cast were John Barragray as the late sculptor Ralph Therian, John McGovern as his equally late scientific collaborator, and Harold Huber as the fabulous Larry Oss. This is Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Kenneth McGregor and is an NBC Radio Network production.
"68 years ago, February 27th, 1957, X-1 here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. By the way, I mentioned Lawson Zerbe as one of the people that we might do a special on. If he interests you, we would certainly love to do that. If there are people that you would like for us to do specials of, please let us know. Of course, the ones that I have mentioned are ones that certainly, definitely are people that interest me very much. Of course, William Conrad we mentioned. Of course, the wonderful John Daner. That could be Parley Bear, Howard McNear, George Ellis, and there are so many others. And, of course, I mentioned Frank Lovejoy. We could pull up some Frank Lovejoy shows and let you hear some specials of these people. If there is a particular actor, not in one single show, but across several different episodes, we'd love to do them for you. Drop me a note through our webpage at classicradio.stream. That is classicradio.stream. Also, you can support us there. You can buy me a copy, and you can purchase some of the items there for sale. Greatly appreciated. classicradio.stream. We head to Oklahoma City, WKY Radio, for an episode of the NBC program Dark Fantasy. That's next.
Do you make it a habit to break the law? If you think not, what sort of driving habits do you have? Figures from the National Safety Council show that about 60% of the fatal traffic accidents each year involve the violation of one or more traffic laws. Many drivers just don't pay attention to the signs. Diamond-shaped, round, and cross-buck signs call for extra caution. Take it easy until the condition they describe has been safely passed. When crossing railroad tracks, watch for that second train you may not have seen. If there are any protective devices like flashing lights, wigwag signals, gates, bells, and lights, wait until they stop operating before stepping on the gas. These are your signs of life. Know them. Obey them.
We go to Oklahoma City for a very spooky show, Dark Fantasy. This episode goes all the way back 83 years, February 27th, 1942, the spawn of the Subhuman.
Dark Fantasy. Spawn of the Subhuman. Beautiful takeoff.
Yes, good pilot. But why did you charter such a large plane for just the two of us, Michael? Isn't this being just a bit too pretentious?
Nothing but the best from now on, Adela. Besides, this was the only plane available. You can unloosen your safety belt now.
I might as well confess that the real reason I was late was because I took so much time reading the notices in the paper this morning.
Weren't they superb?
Excellent. The audience was quite nice to me last night. Extremely appreciative, but I didn't expect such fine reports from the press.
Didn't I tell you before the concert that you'd be a hit? Today, my dear, you're recognized as the outstanding soprano of the nation.
You've had a lot of faith in me, haven't you, Michael?
Well, offhand, I'd say I have, yes.
You spent a lot of money to make me a success.
Don't worry. I'll collect every cent of it back if we get as good houses as we had last night.
Michael.
Yes, darling?
Do you feel, well, rather strange?
Strange? No, dear. Why?
I feel like something is going to happen.
What makes you say that?
I don't know. A feeling of impending danger just seemed to come over me all of a sudden.
Danger? What possible danger could we be in?
I don't know. But I've had this feeling before. It's like someone had spread a shroud down over this airplane.
Oh, now that's a peculiar way to talk, Adela.
It's the same sort of feeling I had that day Stefan disappeared.
Stefan Wilder?
Yes.
Adela.
I was riding in my car that day. I'd been to a matinee with several of my friends. We'd had a glorious time. I was quite happy. So I drove out into the country with the top down on my car. The wind was blowing against the car, just as it's blowing against the plane now. And the sun was glistening on the bright metal of the car, just as it's glistening on the wing out there.
Darling, please don't think of that now.
Oh, it was a lovely day. Just like today. My heart was very light. I was happy. Thrillingly happy. Stefan and I were to be married within a week.
Adela, please.
And then, for no reason at all, I had that strange feeling. It just came out of nowhere and settled down around me like a huge cloth might cover the body of someone who had just died.
Don't talk that way, darling.
It was the strangest feeling I'd ever experienced. Weird. Terrible. It gave me the feeling that 100,000 evil spirits were racing at a maddening pace behind my car, trying to catch up with me, clutch me in their bony, fiendish hands.
That was so long ago. 5 years.
So long ago. It seems like yesterday. Then, when I speeded up the car, something began to pound in my ears. It's pounding there now, Michael. It's pounding there now.
Adela, please.
The faster I drove, the more that evil shroud hung over me. I gave the car more gas. More, and more, and more. And then...
When they found you in the wreckage, they thought you were dead.
I couldn't make the curve. The motor had reached full speed. I could think of but one single danger. The invisible danger that raced there behind me, striving to catch me in its hold.
There was no one. Nothing.
Oh, but there seemed to be. And what was so strange, all of a sudden that bright day vanished. Just vanished. Clouds came out of nowhere and hid the sun from sight.
Darling, I better pull down this shade on the window.
Oh, Michael, wait a minute. Look. Look outside. Clouds. We're flying below them. And they've completely blotted out the sun.
The sun will be out in a minute.
Oh, it's just like that day. Clouds hiding the sun. Just like they did that day.
Oh, just a coincidence.
Dark, dreary clouds. Followed by loud bursts of thunder. Listen. Oh, Michael. What does it mean?
Nothing at all. Just a thunderstorm. Pilot will go up and fly above it.
Why didn't he go up above the storm when he saw it?
Oh, I don't know.
Because he didn't see it, that's why.
Certainly he did.
No, it came up. Just like that day 5 years ago. Out of nowhere. It came up before the pilot was even aware of it.
Oh, nonsense.
It wasn't nonsense 5 years ago. First clouds, then the thunder, then it began to rain.
Well, look for yourself. It's not raining now. It's nothing but an electrical storm. See, we're going above it.
Oh, Michael, I'm frightened.
There's nothing to be frightened about. There, look. There's the sun again.
It was all so strange. That feeling. The clouds hiding behind the sun. The thunder.
Sure, but no rain.
Mr. Brock?
Oh, Michael.
Darling, just the pilot talking to us over the talkback system. Push that button right there so I can answer.
Mr. Brock, Miss Rhodes.
Yes, pilot, what is it?
Don't be alarmed about the storm. We're above it now.
Oh, yes, thank you. Just an electrical storm, isn't it?
No, sir. It's more than that. It's raining cats and dogs down there.
Michael. Rain. Oh, Michael.
We're up above the storm. Nothing can harm us here.
You remember, don't you? I never saw Stefan Wilder again after that experience I had 5 years ago.
Yes. Yes, I remember.
No one ever saw him again. He just disappeared.
Please, darling, don't think about it anymore today. You're tired. Perhaps a little rest would do you good.
Oh, yes, you're right. I am tired.
Just lie back and relax, then. Honestly, sweet, there's nothing to be worried about. We just happened to run into a storm when you thought about that old experience of yours.
I wonder, Michael. I wonder if we did just happen into the storm. Michael, where are you, darling?
Over here, dear. Did you have a good sleep?
Oh, I did sleep after all. Why are the lights out?
Oh, I turned them out so you'd sleep as long as you could. Yeah, I'll switch them back on. There.
What time is it?
9:30.
9:30? Oh, Michael, I've been asleep more than 8 hours.
I thought you'd never wake up.
It's after dark, and you've had the lights off all this time just for me.
Well, I guess I'd better admit I got a little sleep, too.
Where are we now?
Over Mexico. Hey, hungry, dear?
Oh, I'm famished. You know, I can't imagine what made me sleep so long.
Oh, we land at Centella. We can get food there.
Have we landed at all since I retired?
No, we're circling now. Well, that's Centella down there.
Oh.
You better pretty up a bit. This is a secluded part of the country, but you never know who you're going to run into.
Centella.
How long before we're in Monterey?
Oh, about an hour.
Did you get good reservations?
The best. Did you enjoy your dinner?
Oh, immensely. That was a nice place. Certainly a rough landing field, though.
Well, it's not actually a landing field. We had to land someplace to refuel before we got to Monterey, so I picked Centella.
I enjoyed it. Quaint little place. It's a funny thing, Michael. Did you notice the plane?
What do you mean, dear?
It didn't look a bit like it had been in a rainstorm.
I thought you'd forgotten all about that. Of course, it didn't look like it. We flew above the rain before it started.
Oh, yes, that's right. Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to spend the next hour looking through my fashion magazines before we land at Monterey. Should we be over water?
Water? Well, no, of course not.
Well, we are. There's water all around us.
Well, let's see. By heaven, Adela, you're right.
The pilot's off his course.
Well, surely you must realize it.
Oh, you better go up and find out.
Yes, I will. I'll be right back.
Hurry, Michael, for heaven's sake.
Right. The door to the pilot's cabin's locked. I say, pilot. Pilot.
What's wrong, Michael?
Oh, the door to this cabin is locked. Curtain over the windows pulled down inside. Pilot, open up.
Look, he's raising the curtain. Michael.
Good Lord. A thick, hairy arm.
Michael. That's not our pilot at the controls. It's a monkey.
A gorilla.
Oh, Michael. Are we dreaming?
No, it's true. A live gorilla piloting our plane.
But that's impossible.
No, the confounded door's locked. Open this door. Open up.
Oh, Michael, be careful. Look at him. Peering back at us. Those little beady eyes. And an expression on his face that... almost human.
This is fantastic. How in the world did we ever come to be in the air with a creature like that?
We had our regular pilot when we landed at Centella. I saw him climb down out of the cabin.
So did I. But I never did see him again before we took off. Naturally, his back was to me when I gave him the go-ahead signal.
Oh, Michael. Michael, now what?
Oh, we're over land. It's bringing the plane down.
Oh, Michael. We're on the ground.
An absolutely perfect landing.
Oh, he's unlocking the door now. Michael, what's he going to do?
Just take it easy. Don't get excited. Whatever you do, don't run or make a fast movement. Don't let him know you're afraid of him.
Just standing there, looking at us.
Whatever you do, don't let him know you're afraid of him.
You don't have to be afraid of me.
Michael.
That creature talked.
Of course I talk.
Oh, we're a couple of fools, Adela. Just our pilot playing a trick on us, dressed up in a monkey suit.
There is no trickery. I am not your original pilot.
What?
I joined you at Centella, where I came to meet you for Dr. Luther.
Dr. Luther?
Yes. He's waiting for you. Come, follow me.
Steady, darling. Come on. We'd better follow him.
Here's the doctor now.
Well, step in. I see you brought our visitors.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, just as I directed you. Welcome, Adela Rhodes, and welcome to your lovely, lovely voice.
I say, look here.
And welcome to you, Mr. Brock. I'm so sorry that you will be of no assistance to me. However, you may be interested in what I have planned.
Now listen, Dr. Luther. I want to know what this is all about.
You will learn what it is all about, and without delay, I assure you. Come, Stephen. Don't be so inhospitable. Show our guest into the laboratory. Sit down over there, my dear. Over here, Mr. Brock.
Michael.
Dr. Luther, I demand an explanation. Where are we? Why have you brought us here?
You're too full of questions, Mr. Brock. I've already told you I'm about to show you why I brought you here. Here, high in these mountains, secretly, I've been working for 5 years, experimenting, testing, trying to accomplish what everyone would have said was utterly impossible had I told them about it. But I didn't tell anyone. Instead, I came here and built this laboratory. You see, it's fully equipped and modern in every detail.
Oh, look here, Dr. Luther.
During those 5 years, I trained Stefan here. I believe you will agree my training has been very successful. You now see an almost full-grown gorilla, behaving like a human, acting like a human, even talking like a human. I've been very kind to you, haven't I, Stefan?
Yes, Dr. Luther. Of course you've been kind.
Yes, just so. Scientists back there in your world, my dear Miss Rhodes, will tell you it's impossible to completely train a gorilla. That is the second point in which I've proved them wrong. Stefan, sing for us.
Yes, Doctor.
Mi si può, signore, signori.
Doesn't he have an excellent voice?
Michael, did you hear that?
Impossible. Sing again, Stefan.
Oh,
You see, soon he will be world famous. I shall travel with him, take him to the 4 corners of the earth, and show people how well my gorilla sings.
Oh, Michael, I can't believe it. That's Stefan Wilder's voice.
It can't be.
Ah, but it is.
Yes. Now I remember. Now I know who you are, Dr. Luther. Stefan Wilder had an appointment with you that day he disappeared 5 years ago. I'd forgotten all about it, but I just now remembered.
So that's what happened to Stefan Wilder. You kidnapped him and brought him here and... You...
Precisely. I brought him here to do what others said could never be done. When I chloroformed him 5 years ago and brought him here, I thought I was ready. But my gorilla wasn't. So I had to wait. 3 months ago, I performed the operation.
Operation?
I removed the vocal cords from the man and grafted them into the gorilla.
Oh.
This is ridiculous. A thing like that can't be done.
Oh, surely you don't deny the proof I've just given you, Mr. Brock. Stefan, sing. You recognized that voice, Miss Rhodes, the moment you heard it, because you'd sung operas with Mr. Wilder so much.
That was the way he sang, to exercise his voice.
Don't you both realize what I have here? The secret of an untold wealth. Why, besides knowing how to train this ferocious and morose type of animal, besides knowing how to transfer human vocal cords successfully, I have something I can exhibit to the world to prove my knowledge. Think of the fortune I can amass, because people will pay immense sums to see and hear my singing gorilla.
Stop it. Stop it, I say. Why have you brought me here? Surely you could have spared me this.
I will tell you why, Miss Rhodes. If you and Mr. Brock will step over here...
The only place we're going to step is out of this place.
You will do as I ask. Stefan, these people are not to leave.
Very well, Dr. Luther.
Over here, if you please.
Better do what he says, Adler.
There. Go to this plate glass. Look into the next room.
Another gorilla.
Yes. Isn't it a fine specimen?
Fine specimen?
Yes, she. She?
Oh, no. No. You're not planning.
I've trained her very carefully. She was so much more responsive than the male. Now that she's able to obey me, I'm quite ready for the rest of my plans for her.
Oh, no. No, you can't. I won't let you.
I'll say he can't.
Neither of you will be able to prevent it. Soon I'll tour the world with the most amazing exhibition on earth. A male and a female gorilla singing all the world-famous operas.
Look here, you...
Wait a minute. I just happened to think of something, Doctor.
Yes?
Do you remember the day Stefan Wilder had that appointment with you 5 years ago?
Yes, certainly I remember. I'd been planning to obtain possession of him so I could bring him here. I was most pleased when he called and asked for an appointment.
But did he tell you why he was calling upon you?
I know. No, he didn't.
He came to you, Dr. Luther, because he was losing his voice.
You must be wrong.
I am not wrong. I am the only one he told about it. It had been worrying him for a long time. You see, the more he sang, the worse his voice became. He was gradually losing it.
But that's impossible.
Do you think so, Doctor? You're a specialist on that subject. That's why he was coming to you that day.
No, you must be wrong. After all the work I've done.
Your gorilla will lose his voice, Dr. Luther. And I assure you, before you'll do anything to me, I'll see to it that my voice is ruined too.
He won't. He can't. He's an excellent voice. Excellent. Yes, of course he is. We've worked together. I've trained him. His voice can't go bad on me now. Not now. Just when it's finally successful.
Oh, you'll see, Dr. Luther.
No, you're wrong. You're mistaken. He'll sing all right. He won't lose his voice. Will you, Stefan? No, of course not. You're in an excellent voice, Stefan. Sing. Sing, go ahead, Stefan. Show him.
Si può, signore, signore.
There, you see? Did you hear that? A beautiful quality, beautiful tones.
Oh, Maria.
Listen, Doctor.
Stefan, what's wrong? Try again.
Oh, Maria.
Now you think I'm wrong.
No, it's true. Stefan, you devil. After all I've done, after all my work, this is what I get as a reward. I've sacrificed everything. My position, my career, all my money, and this is what happens. Well, there's one way, Stefan. By heaven, there's one way.
Get back, Adler.
He got a gun.
No, Dr. Luther. That would have hit that beast, but look at him.
Stop! No, Stefan! Stefan, no! Stefan, let go of me! Stefan!
You have heard Spawn of the Subhuman, tonight's original tale of dark fantasy by Scott Bishop. Ben Morris was heard as Michael Brock, Eleanor Naylor Corrin was Adler Rhodes, Garland Moss played Dr. Luther, and Muir Height was the gorilla. Next Friday night at this same time, listen to the 16th in this series of dark fantasy dramas created by Scott Bishop, The Man with the Scarlet Satchel. The story of an aged millionaire who receives a child's set of modeling clay as a practical joke, but who turns the gift into an incredible and weird instrument of destruction. Don't miss this unusual story next Friday night, The Man with the Scarlet Satchel. Tom Paxton speaking. Dark Fantasy comes to you from WKY, Oklahoma City. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
83 years ago, February 27th, 1942, Dark Fantasy here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We'll lighten the mood tomorrow with episodes of Fred Allen, Jack Benny, Goodman Ace and his wife Jane in Mr. Ace and Jane from 1948, and an episode of Claudia. And then we'll follow it up with drama the next day with Screen Director's Playhouse, Suspense, the story of the Screaming Woman, Quiet Please, and more Claudia. Coming up next, though, Superman and a brand new adventure.
Picture the most extravagant vacation imaginable. Then picture yourself going on that vacation. Sounds like a daydream? Well, it isn't. It's completely possible. But it does take a bit of planning, such as the regular purchase of United States savings bonds. Now, the best way to do that is through the payroll savings plan. That's the best way because it's the sure way to buy your savings bonds regularly. The payroll savings plan works like a charm because it's completely automatic. Your employer does everything for you. It's especially easy on you because money is saved from your paychecks before you have a chance to miss it. And when those bonds mature, you can pack your bags for that extravagant vacation because United States savings bonds pay back $4 for every $3 you put in. Join the payroll savings plan where you work. That's the way to save money regularly. Earn extra money regularly through United States savings bonds.
We wrap up this Thursday episode of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox with an episode of Superman. This episode goes back 83 years, February 27th, 1942.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can leap tall buildings at a single bound, race a speeding bullet to its target, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice.
In response to Editor Perry White's urgent telegram, Clark Kent, Lois Lane, and young Jimmy Olsen are speeding back to Metropolis aboard the Tri-State Limited, puzzled as to the reason for White's almost frantic summons. As we join them in a drawing room, the cracked streamlined express is thundering through the night.
Jimmy, you don't have to finish that box of candy in one sitting.
I've only had 5 pieces.
Only 5 pieces? Now go on, put the cover on the box. That's all we need now is take you off the train with a stomachache. Clark?
Yes, Lois?
I don't suppose you've had any bright ideas.
Bright ideas?
You know what I mean. Have you thought of any reasons for Mr. White wanting us back in such a hurry?
Now, look, Lois, it's 10:30 now. We just pulled out of Glenwood. The next stop is Walden Junction and then Metropolis, the end of the line. In exactly 27 minutes, you'll know all the answers.
Really, there are times when you can be the most exasperating person. How you can sit there with your nose buried in a newspaper is beyond me. Haven't you any curiosity?
Maybe the Daily Planet building burned down.
It'll be ridiculous, Jimmy.
Well, you can't tell.
Look.
Yes?
Exactly what did Mr. White say in the telegram?
Not very much. I told you.
You weren't very specific.
Well, neither was he.
Maybe a German spy set a bomb off.
Jimmy, little boys should be seen and not heard.
I'm not little, and a German spy could set off a bomb, couldn't he?
Yes, he could. Clark, haven't you any idea what Mr. White wants?
Oh, Lois, I wish you'd stop eating your heart out. We'll know exactly what he wants the moment we get in.
Do you think he'll meet us at the station?
I'm sure I don't know.
Talking to you is like talking to a brick wall. All right, go on, read your paper. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care.
Who's that?
Come in.
Excuse me, I got a telegram from Mr. Kent.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome.
Well, why don't you open it?
I will. It's not going to fly away.
Jimmy, I said no more candy.
Oh, just 1 piece.
I said no more.
Okay.
This is strange.
Strange?
Yes.
What do you mean, Clark?
Another telegram from Mr. White.
Gosh, what does it say?
Listen. We'll meet you and Jimmy at Walden Junction. Tell Lois to proceed to Metropolis and report at office. Signed, Perry White.
Oh, I don't understand that.
Mr. Kent and me are supposed to...
And I?
Mr. Kent and I are supposed to get off at Walden Junction. That's the next stop. And you're supposed to go on to Metropolis. That's right, isn't it, Mr. Kent?
According to the telegram.
What's the idea?
I don't know, Lois. But orders are orders. Now, everything packed, Jimmy?
Yeah, except the candy. I'll carry that.
Clark, what's behind all this?
You know as much about it as I do. Yeah, that sounds like the station whistle. We'll be pulling in a minute or so. Put your coat on, Jim.
Why can't I get off at Walden Junction, too?
Well, I can think of one very good reason. Mr. White wants you to get off at Metropolis.
Something very strange about this whole business. Something I don't like. You're tossing it off much too lightly, Clark.
No, I'm not. But there's one thing you've got to remember, Lois. A good soldier takes orders.
I suppose so.
Come on, Jim. See you at the office, Lois.
Boy, oh boy. How much longer are we going to hang around the station, Mr. Kent? Gee whiz, that cold wind goes right through me.
Well, go into the waiting room, Jimmy. It's warm there.
No, I'd rather stick with you.
Yes, I don't understand this at all. That telegram was clear enough.
Oh, are you sure it said to get off at Walden Junction?
Positive. Right. Here it is. Now, let's look at it under that light there.
What does it say?
We'll meet you and Jimmy at Walden Junction.
Well, this is Walden Junction, all right. Here's Mr. White. We've been waiting here for almost... What's the matter, Mr. Kent?
Jimmy, we've been tricked.
Tricked? What do you mean?
This telegram is a fake. It was written on a typewriter. I should have noticed that a long time ago.
Golly. But why should anyone send us a fake
There can
telegram?
only be one reason to separate us from Lois.
You mean...
Now, look, Jimmy, there's no time to waste. You trust me, don't you?
Why, sure.
Then listen carefully. There's a local train coming through in 15 minutes. Now, here, here's some money. You buy a ticket and ride into Metropolis.
What?
Go right to the office.
You mean alone?
Yes, I have important work to do, and it must be done fast.
Oh, but
You said you trusted me, Jim.
Okay.
Good boy. Now, you stay in the waiting room until the train pulls in. If you get to the office before I do, keep mum about all this, understand?
Uh-huh.
So long.
So long.
Kick myself for falling to that fake telegram. Well, maybe it's not too late. Maybe I can still catch the limited as Superman. Oh, Jimmy can't see me now. Just stepped into the waiting room. Up, and away!
Streaking through the darkness, Superman follows the steel rails like a bird in flight. Picks up the Tri-State Limited halfway between Walden Junction and Metropolis. Dropping to the darkened observation platform, he enters the train as Clark Kent and hurries to the drawing room in which he left Lois.
Ah, this is it. Drawing room C, car 42. Lois! Lois! That's funny. What? The door's locked. Lois! Lois! I don't understand it. Oh, Porter. Can you unlock this door for me?
Yes, Great day in the morning.
What's the matter?
Didn't you all get off at Walden Junction?
Yes, but I got on again. Can you unlock this door?
Well, there's a lady in that drawing room.
I know there is. The young lady who was with me. You remember, don't you?
Yes. Don't you answer?
No. Have you a key?
Yes, sir. Right here. I'll get the key. How you get off at Walden
please.
Junction? Yes, sir. Right here. There's she's open now.
Thank you. The room's empty.
Well, no, sir, that can't be.
I tell you, it's empty.
Oh, the train's halted, then. Come down.
Yes?
Clark Kent is back, Mr. White.
Oh, he is he? Well, you'll send him in. I'll give him a piece of my mind. What do you think we're running here? A high school yearbook?
Hello, Mr. White.
Close the door. Now, Kent, what's the big
Just a minute, please. Something serious has happened.
I'm glad you realize
I'm afraid you don't know what I'm talking about, Mr. White.
Oh, no, of course not. I'm a dope. An addle-pated fool.
Now, just a minute.
I don't understand English.
If you can hold your temper in check for a moment, I'd like to discuss something with you.
No, you would. Well, where were you when I returned from Washington?
Now, look.
Did it ever occur to you that I might want to discuss something with you once in a while?
Take it easy, will you? You knew we were at the Barrow Ranch with Jimmy. As a matter of fact, we were just leaving when your telegram arrived.
My telegram?
Yes.
Are you crazy?
Well, you said you wanted us back at once, that something important had come up.
You're out of your mind. What? In the first place, I didn't know where you were. In the second place, if I had telegraphed, it would have been to tell you that you're fired.
Wait a minute. You mean to say you didn't send me a wire early this evening at 7 o'clock?
I did not.
Oh, wait a minute. Am I crazy?
I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Oh, where's Lois?
One thing at a time, Mr. White. You did send a wire to the Barrow Ranch, didn't you?
No, I didn't. Now, listen, Kent.
I don't understand this.
There are a few things that I don't understand either. Now, where's Lois?
I don't know.
Wasn't she with you?
Yes, but she disappeared off the train.
What?
Now, wait.
Disappeared off the...
Please, let's get things straight. It wasn't you who sent the first telegram.
How many times do I have to...
All right.
Kent, if this is your idea of a joke...
It's no joke, Mr. White. It's pretty serious. Now, listen to me. Jimmy ran into some trouble at the Barrow Dude Ranch. Lois and I went up to straighten it out. We were about to return when a wire came through signed by you. It said to come back at once. Something important had come up.
I didn't wire you or anyone else.
I suppose not, if you say so. Well, anyway, we took the first train out, the Tri-State Limited. Just after we pulled out of Glenwood, the porter gave me a telegram. Again, it was signed with your name, and it said for Jimmy and myself to get off at Walden Junction and for Lois to go on to Metropolis.
I never sent that telegram either.
I know it. That one was a fake, but I fell for it. Jimmy and I got off. We waited around for 10 minutes before I realized the telegram wasn't authentic. Then I followed the train.
How?
Why, I hired a car.
You mean to say you caught the Limited in a car?
Well, you see, it was a fast car. I mean...
All right. Go ahead. Now, what happened?
Well, I got aboard the train. The door to Lois's drawing room was locked. The porter opened it. But she wasn't there.
Probably in the club car.
No, she wasn't. We searched the train thoroughly. She wasn't on board.
Kent, do you expect me to swallow that? The Limited doesn't stop between Walden Junction and Metropolis. She couldn't have gotten off.
Mr. White, I tell you, she wasn't on that train. She's gone. Vanished.
Now, look, Kent. Wait a minute. Perry White speaking.
Hello, Mr. White.
Lois.
Is Clark Kent there?
Yes, he is. But where under the sun are you?
Look, let me speak to Clark quickly.
Yes, but I know not... Oh, all right. Here, Kent. She wants to speak to you.
Okay. Lois, what in the name of heaven...
I haven't much time, Clark. Listen, don't worry. Everything is all right. I'll call you at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
But, Lois, you
Goodbye.
Wait a minute, look. She hung up.
Listen, Kent. What's this all about?
That's what I'd like to know, Mr. White.
Well, it looks like someone is weaving the web of a baffling mystery around Clark Kent, Lois Lane, and Perry White. How did Lois vanish from the train, and where is she now? And who was responsible for the false telegrams? This is just the beginning, so don't miss a single mystifying episode. Tune in and follow the story with Superman.
Don't forget, tune in again for the next thrilling episode with Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane.
It's Superman.
Another mystery with Superman 83 years ago, February 27th, 1942, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We'll have Fred Allen, Jack Benny, Goodman Ace and his wife Jane in Mr. Jane and Ace tomorrow, and Claudia, and we will talk to you then. Have yourself a great day. We'll see you next time here on Classic Radio Theater. I'm Wyatt Cox.